that has been randomized, but the light cone has been given to the players, and we are off.
The moon is crashing. Is that like a reference to the whole blood moon thing that happened a couple nights ago?
I think it's Majora's Mask reference, but
I'm just trying to play with it.
I liked where you were going.
I did too. It was like the first thing that came to mind.
It's very topical.
50 rupees in Link's house. We get an early map check from Mikan. We had a Pyramid Fairy crystal over at Desert, and just 2 regular boring old crystals. We can just skip those, right? We don't need... No, we need them. So at Eastern and Hera. So not too bad. Always fun to see 3 crystals in the light world. Obviously that means 3 pendants will be in the dark world, hopefully on some of the longer, more complex dungeons, but it doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah, definitely. It does, not to speculate too far in advance, but something along the lines of if you have Turtle Rock and Misery Mire, ooh, look at that fire rod.
I am looking at that fire rod. Are you?
I am. I can feel the heat. I can feel the heat.
Well, perfect then.
What I was saying is, if you end up somewhere with Turtle Rock and Misery Mire as pendants, you may not find the cane until you're in Ganon's Tower.
But, yeah, that's one of those scary ones too, because it's kind of like you might not need it. You might need it to go to the right side and get the big key. You're really gonna hope that's not the case, because yeah, if you can just bypass those dungeons, those are definitely long and more of the difficult end of the game and what it can show for you.
Yeah, plus you won't need any medallions either.
Another benefit, I suppose. We see Mikan also has a bomb already. I didn't quite see what enemy dropped it, possibly one of the green guards. Kohrek could be able to pick one up soon as well. It's all going to depend on how many enemies these runners decide that they want to try and farm throughout these first 6 minutes.
Ooh, just a heart. So I'm not necessarily off the guard right away. Or maybe it was the second guard. So prize packs are randomized in this game, or in this mode as well. That means normally you would get a heart and then something else, but there's that bomb. Kohrek going back for it very wisely.
Yeah, that's not something that you pass by at this point. Interesting to see different strategies too between the Fire Rod and the Fighter's Sword. Fire Rod, of course, being a one-shot on everything that we're going to encounter here. But, of course, these guards take a little bit of time to burn. So, it's a preference thing, it's what you're comfortable with. Maybe you just felt like, you know what, let me hit that Y button. Why not?
Definitely. Yeah, we saw, the strat that you can get if you have the item from the randomizer or the, NMG strat. So that was cool.
What's interesting is that there's actually kind of 2 NMG strats for that room, whether or not you're doing any percent or 100%. But that's another story for another time. They're both kind of similar enough.
DT, I have a question for you.
You do? I might have an answer. I'll try. What's up?
Well, I hope you do. Isn't the bunny sprite what happens when you're in the Dark World without the Moon Pearl?
But Felix, this is not an inverted seed, so how can this be? We're in the... What is going on? Well, we've got like 1,000 million different playable sprites that you can play as. And they're lots of fun. So runners will always pick their favorite. And, they might have more than one favorite, but Mikan regularly uses this bunny sprite. It is adorable. And Kohrek is using I guess it's like a wireframe. I don't know the official name for it.
Yeah, I think wireframe. Wireframe is fairly accurate. What's your sprite of choice? I asked knowing full well.
I know that you're trying to point the finger at me, but it's just not clicking at the moment.
Terrible. For those of you that might not know, there is a mouse clicker, or a mouse pointer, I believe is the proper thing. The person is a mouse clicker sprite that you can play as with some great, custom animations.
Yeah, that's one of the really fun things about a lot of these custom sprites is the animations themselves, whether it be the praying animation outside of Desert or certain death animations. It's not always... it is related to the sprite, but it's not always just a variation of the sprite itself. It could be something slightly different.
Definitely.
Like the Ryu sprite, when you die as that character, is just like a giant KO. It's always themed appropriately, and it's really, really cool. Same goes for the bunny sprites, usually, which is what we're seeing as Mikan right now, but not the literal bunny, but the other bunny when you don't have the Moon Pearl bunny, that bunny thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, toward the back of Escape, we do have a bomb for each runner, so let's take a look at what we're going to find. Trying to not get juked by any of these rats. Sometimes what can happen in that room is you pick up the bomb early, and one of those rats will run into you, and that's it. But not the case today. Just a couple of heart pieces, a map. We'll have one more item to find in the sanctuary proper, and move on from there.
Definitely. And though maybe, not the best items found, having that bomb at least gives you the peace of mind that you don't need to go back.
Mm-hmm. It could be some time before we find a glove to even be able to.
Right.
Yeah, just not a concern. Good peace of mind, like you said. There's another bomb for Kohrek, actually, so that's nice.
That is nice. All right, so we're getting to the part where the game is opening up. Kakariko is available. South Shore, you can go to Eastern. What do you think they're going to do?
Well,
what do you think they're going to do?
The interesting thing that I'm wondering is, do you go to check the Lumberjack tree or just head straight to Kakariko? See, now, playing this game with spring 2017 settings, we saw a lot of runners back then that would save and quit after the Sanctuary and just go straight to the South Shore. But anybody that didn't would always go and check the Lumberjack tree first on the way through the Lost Woods. It's interesting to note how the game has evolved and how the strategies of players have evolved in the past 2 years, just as a result of that. Nice tree pull, by the way, a couple of bombs there. Because, yeah, we don't see people check the Lumberjack tree as frequently anymore. Not as early. It depends on when they get the items that are accessible to even grant them access to it. It's not a long check. It's not out of the way, terribly, but it's just something that a lot of people have taken a preference for. So that's what we're seeing.
Totally, a small optimization, and that's what this game is all about. What can I optimize? How can I make things more efficient? There's 216 possible locations. Where is what? It's like 40 things you need? Approximately. I know it's less items in total, but with safeties and any potential progression items, it's like 40 useful things. So yeah, it's tough. It's a puzzle as much as it is playing a game fast.
Definitely, it's very much those two parts: the execution and the routing. And I mean, I always like to try and be consistent with the execution and the routing. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do anything about. You can make logical choices, go toward high density checks. I mean, obviously, starting at Kakariko is a great play. We've got 5 items just in the basement here and another 4 in the well just to the west. But yeah, I mean, later on, it's like all these little one-off locations, the Lumberjack tree, for instance. When do you decide to check them? And every runner thinks about it differently, and it varies from seed to seed, even with the same runner.
Definitely. So you had mentioned before, people go to South Shore and check that before coming to Kakariko. One of the main reasons that was done was to look for a bottle, so you could check the sick kid right away. Finding one in the back of Blind's hut, perfect. Go check, get that extra item, don't have to come back. Again, leaving loose ends is a terrifying thing.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the mental game is very, very important. We get the hook shot in the back of the well here, really nice find for super obvious reasons. I don't have to explain it, it's the hook shot.
Could you, though?
I will explain it, yes. The hook shot not only stuns lots and lots of enemies in this difficulty, it is great for fast travel, it can hook to lots of things, it can open up lots of locations, such as East Death Mountain, if we happen to find a glove and the lamp or the flute in the near future. It is one of the most universally accepted and versatile weapons in this game.
So we didn't find the flute, but we did find the flippers.
That's another FL.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good. That puts another few items in logic. So we keep saying logic, or I keep saying it, keep thinking it anyways. This game is built to have a total ability to get every piece of progression, or I think every item from start to end. Keys can be locked behind key doors, but that only affects, that key itself. So there is a guaranteed way to get from when you open this seed to beating Ganon with 100% of the items.
Yes. Yep, every location is reachable. I know that there was some talk or consideration, and I believe that certain other randomizers may make it so that you can simply beat the game but not have every location be accessible, and it's a really, really interesting thing that, who knows, maybe could become a variation for this someday.
It's true. We are merely speculating, of course.
Of course.
But, yeah, definitely, I mean, there is a bright future for A Link to the Past Randomizer. I'm very excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the developers, big shout outs to all of them, always working on something fun. Keeping all of us on our toes, keeping all of these games interesting for us. So with that, nothing at the race game, we're going to save and quit, head to the South Shore now. And we've got the dam to check, there's 2 locations there, there's Mini Maldorm Cave just to the east, Agnes Cave to the west. We see some people occasionally go and check that super early.
That is my favorite play. It's one of those ones where if you find something useful, like I found boots in a tournament match before in there, and it gives you potentially such a lead, because it's one of those one-offs that, you know, no one goes back to. And for me, I think there's no better time than right at the beginning.
I mean, yeah, before you get sucked into doing so many other things, it's certainly a plausible idea.
Definitely.
It just depends. Like everything, just depends. So yeah, not really finding anything in the dam cave here, but nice to see that the bush. It's not really a crab, is it?
I think it's like a hermit crab.
The bush friendly thing is giving us lots of little magic drops, so that's not too bad. Always fun to see that spitting out 20s or bombs or magics of some sort.
Definitely. So we got 5 items in here. You know, 4 in the chests and 1 from the super friendly guy. Hookshot just taking out those enemies.
He looks so angry though. I don't know.
He's been locked in a cave for all this time.
Oh, that's true. It was literally sealed off. But we did find the flute. So that is our other FL item. And hey, look what Kohrek's doing.
I'm a big fan. You know, no bias towards the runners, but I like this move. I'm very excited. See if something is of use in there. This also does let you go look at what is on the desert ledge, and more information is always a good thing. Kind of steers you, oh, I gotta go back somewhere earlier. Ooh.
Well, that's one of those things that could be absolutely necessary. We don't have that knowledge yet.
Yeah, we won't get that until, well, we won't get whether it's important at all in the first place until we get to the Dark World. And even then, we gotta go check Turtle Rock and the entrance to Misery Mire to know whether they're important.
That time will tell. It looks like, by the way, the stun prize pack, which is slightly different from just the general prize pool that rotates through. It looks like the stun pack is just a single green rupee.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we're going to see that being made much use for.
I mean, maybe if they're like desperate for a couple rupees for Zora or something like that.
That's not too far off. I've seen that happen before. If a runner goes into the Zora area with like 496, there's enough Zoras to kill on the way to get that extra 4. It has happened. That's very true.
So we just saw green pendant at Skull Woods.
See, that's one of the interesting things about the potential early Dark World routing, which we're still missing a couple items for. Kohrek did just get the hammer from the back of Sahasrarla's little house, though. But yeah, knowing that a green pendant's at Skull Woods, typically the Village of Outcasts area is one of the most common initial entryways to the Dark World. And it's really, really convenient when Skull Woods and Thieves Town are both crystals, because you don't have to play the game of, it's a pendant dungeon, do I dip it? It's a crystal at that point, yes, you do. But yeah, having Skull Woods as a pendant adds a little bit of extra weight since it's the green one that gives it a total of 3 items that it's valuable for. But we'll see.
Yeah, who knows? We might find some hints saying, you know, green pendant, it doesn't have much. Who knows?
We could also find a hint saying the boots are in Skull Woods. Again, who knows? But not to get too far ahead. It's just kind of fun to speculate. You want to see how these runners are going to handle each situation as it's different every time that you play the game. So Mikan heading straight up to Death Mountain, going through this dark room, and rescuing the old man. We'll take him home, And with that hook shot, we'll be able to go to East Death Mountain, which has a good number of items accessible to us, 8, I believe, over there, as well as knowledge of at least what's on top of Spectacle Rock in the northwest of the mountain. And inside of Spectacle Rock, that one will be accessible, along with a hint tile, so we might see that check be made. But with the hook shot out first, maybe we're going east?
Yeah, who knows? It is, if Kohrek goes up to Death Mountain, Kohrek can do a bit more, go into Tower of Hera. But either way, Mikan can get 8 chests on that right side and, check 2 items here, as you were saying. So
looks like just a heart piece as one of those that you can check. And yeah, thanks to the hint tiles in version 30, we don't really see runners go in through that top entryway anymore. They usually come straight down here and take the extra value from the hint tile. Speaking of value, though, that is definitely one of the required items that will allow Mikan's bunny to stay a bunny in the Dark World. And he's just going to save and quit right out of there.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is looking for something. So, maybe you can help me out with these hint tiles. The color coding kind of states whether they're jokes or not. So not to confuse anyone.
Right.
So green is the, maybe you should check a different hint tile color.
Sometimes they say something funny, too.
Yeah, sometimes they're not mean. But, yeah, it's definitely changed the game a little.
One place that it's definitely changed the game is in the Ice Palace, which still has the same number of non-dungeon items, only 3 there, but it also has 3 hint tiles, and a lot of players find a lot of worth into going there and checking those out.
It's true.
Maybe earlier than they normally would. Who knows?
Definitely some value.
So we'll head upstairs now. We'll see what's in this mini Moldorm cave. Another 5 items, of course. And 3 mini Moldorms. A spin attack takes out 1. We'll just drop a bomb. And hit that switch. There we go.
It'll be interesting to see what's up here. If there's no progression, I know Mikan's basically going to Eastern.
Well, speaking of going to Eastern...
Yeah. So that's a good item to find. The bow is real nice.
Probably a favorite among most runners. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see then if Kohrek's still going to head to... No, he will. Tower of Hera is still fully accessible, and it's a crystal. So yeah, that's not even going to be a question.
Yeah, definitely. And with the fire rod, totally accessible. As you were saying, you can get that torch room if you have to. Oh! Did you see what was on the island?
I did, but Felix, there might be some fine folk at home that did not, so why don't you enlighten us?
It was the cane of Jeff. Samaria. Cane of
the
Samaria.
Red one.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Well, we call the blue one the cane of Brian, so I figured Jeff gets the red one.
Just give it another name?
Yeah,
sure.
Why not?
That's how things start.
I was going to call it like Steve, but that's boring. Who wants a cane of Steve?
How about a cane of sugar?
Yeah, that'd be good. But
yeah, it's the sugar cane now.
All right. I'm good with that.
So Mikan's just going to flute out. Didn't have the hammer yet from Sahasrara, so Eastern, obviously the obvious choice. That was a little redundant, I guess. But that's fine. Crystal, there's 3 items we'll be able to clear out. So a little bit of different routing, just leading to slightly different opportunities at this point between the runners. And we'll see how it goes. I don't think that Hera is going to be too far off for Mikan anyway, unless, of course, we happen to find a glove in Eastern Palace, because that would fully open up Dark World as he's about to get his hammer.
It's true. That would be a major distraction from Tower of Hera. Definitely a worthwhile one. So, just to point out, Eastern Palace is not fully completable yet with respect to the logic. There's no lamp for these players. They can do it. They're definitely skilled enough to go navigate dark rooms. The fire rod helps quite a bit. But the game won't make you do things that, the vanilla game wouldn't expect you to. With that said, there are so many sneaky things that the game was willing to let you do. But, the developers have kept it in check.
Yeah, very true. And that goes back to, we saw it through the escape sequence. We had that free light cone, but that's just because that's a literal mandatory thing to do in the standard mode. And the lamp, at one point, I believe, going back to an old version of the randomizer, would have been available, I think. Or rather, they gave you the light cone so that they didn't have to give you the lamp, which allows it to be more interestingly randomized. I guess that's interesting.
Ooh.
Phrase. I saw that hint too from Kohrek. A heart container, or was it a heart container or a piece of heart? Either way, green pendant is kind of trash.
Yeah, it's something that's basically going to lead to no one beating Skullwoods.
Right.
And, unless there's an item on Mothula, I doubt the green pendant's going to be turned in, is what I'm getting to.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of those things that we were speculating on before. Skullwoods only has 2 of the items within it that you can locate, and the green pendant would have given it that weight of a 1/3, but we just quickly debunked that, so that might not be something that's on the table.
One more hint.
Unique item is in plain sight. That could refer to many things. It most recently, of course, could have referred to the moon pearl that we just picked up inside a spectacle rock.
The cane of Samaria sitting on the floating island. It's just a mountain top, isn't it?
Yeah, but it literally floats, and it shouldn't. There's like no physics behind it whatsoever.
No, there's clouds.
There's clouds behind it.
No, there's clouds in front of it.
And well, there's probably clouds behind it too. It's a mountain.
Right, sure, but it's not floating is what I'm getting at. It's just breaking through the clouds.
I liked it better when it was floating.
Okay, fine. You have yours. I'll take mine.
The name of the game is have fun, right? You can have fun with floating mountains. But let's see how Moldorm goes for Kohrek. Getting bonked a little bit. 3 hits with the hammer is going to be all that it takes. Not being the most friendly. He's kind of playing a little game of chase. Rather, he's the one being chased. But there we go. 3 and down. And we'll see, is Moldorm going to have an item? Just a small piece, so that opens up the basement. I don't believe that we got both items climbing up, so we'll see.
No, I didn't see both as well. Okay, so Mikan's on the way to their first crystal. Kohrek has 1. We're still kind of lacking progression. We can't get into Aga's tower. We also don't, have any lamp or anything like that. So we'll see where this is. It could be basically, well, we're down to like Waterfall Ferry. I don't think anyone's checked Ice Rod Cave unless I totally missed it.
I don't know. No, I think that they both saved and quit after getting the flute from Mini Moldorm Cave. Mikan, I know, was out of bombs at the time and without a glove wouldn't even be able to pick up a bomb outside of it from the rock. But
Definitely.
What we're seeing right here, picking up these rupees, I suspect that Mikan's planning to go to Zora after this, just to make sure that he's got over 500.
Smart move there. That's some next level thinking.
Yeah, there's 90 rupees in that room. You don't see it too often, but good to keep it in mind if you're just a little bit short and you know you're planning to spend some soon after.
Definitely. Oh, Kohrek's setting up a death warp here.
Yeah.
2 hearts. Always a little terrifying.
Yeah, it can be. You want to make sure that you're comfortable going into that mini Moldorm room just because their movement is so erratic that they'll do a full heart of damage to you. There's our glove.
Oh my. Alright, so
well,
it'll be interesting to see what's next.
That's the progression that we were looking for, though. We've got options.
Yes. But the nature of this game is that there are 2 progressive gloves. What if one is at Zora?
What if one is on Armos?
Yes, that too. Immediately counter my point with a nice logical point.
Well, no, yours was still totally logical. It's too much logic.
Too much logic. All right, so Kohrek going through Spiral Cave. We know that's not particularly useful. What is next? So it kind of we know what Kohrek is probably going to do. Probably go to the Dark World. Save Eastern Palace for, when they can do pod.
That's the ideal play. Especially if we wind up finding that mirror, we'll be able to go from pod straight to Eastern. Eastern not having any value aside from that crystal, so we know that there's really no sense of urgency for Kohrek to do it.
Yes, but of course Kohrek won't know that.
No, and that's where this is such a mental game. Like, do I do that? Because yes, I can beat it. Or do I wait because I can beat it later? What's correct?
Did you just say correct?
No, I realized that right after I said it. That yeah, that's what it sounded like, but that was very unintentional.
All right, good. So Mikan doing the, we got a map check. Ice Palace and Turtle Rock, the other two pendants from what I saw.
Yep, that's correct. And Palace of Darkness was crystal number 6.
Okay, perfect. That is what I had missed.
So with that, we've got our full map layout in terms of dungeons and crystals. Wow, crystals and pendants. We know what's where now. We also know that there's half magic and plenty of money there. Nice.
Correct, finding the mirror and the boots, and a full heart container. No, that was a wonderfully hype cape. That's perfect timing.
I'm okay with it. And there's a sword, so you know what? That's actually just fine as well. Both runners finding different bits of progression at this point.
This is interesting. For me, I would have immediately gone, Pod and Eastern Palace. But Kohrek's going right into Swamp. Which is a great, 6 items in there. And I think one of those, I'm going to do this because I don't necessarily expect my opponent to, or, it's so convenient right here. How can I not? Right?
I mean, that's a fair point. Usually when you're entering the Dark World for the first time, you're still missing 1 or 2 pieces of the Swamp Palace puzzle. But in this case, we've got everything to fully complete it. Fighter Sword's going to make Argus just a little bit less fun, or the hammer, I guess. But yeah, I mean, that's another thing with the version 30 hint updates, is that sometimes runners will elect to wait on this a little bit longer.
Ooh.
Because there is a hint available denoting the items that are in the left side of Swamp.
Did you see that hint?
I did. It was Misery Mire Big Key and something else firelocked in Misery Mire.
I think it was a unique item from what I saw, which is ominous.
Very ominous.
But it probably means, if Kohrek is in there before go mode, we're gonna have a 15-second cutscene.
We definitely, I guess either way.
Yep.
Because you're gonna want to get both of those. That unique item, especially at this point, could be, over half of the things on that tracker at this point.
Yep. We know where the cane is, so.
So as soon as we get the mitts, that's at least accessible to us. Once you get the mitts, then go get the cane. You can go check Misery Mire. And, that's actually going to wind up being really great routing. Because sometimes when you get the mitts and you have the flute, you're wondering, do I go check Mire's medallion first or Turtle Rock? In this case, it's going to make a lot more sense to go up to Death Mountain, get that cane, check the Turtle Rock medallion while you're there, just because. And then you can still go to Misery Mire and probably full clear it.
Definitely. So while we've been going on speculating about what Kohrek might do, finding that hint, Mikan getting the information and going through Hera, they'll get eventually their glove of power.
I believe it's actually called the Power Glove.
Look, Yoda made it okay to speak in whatever order you wanted.
As long as all the words are in the sentence, it's fine, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'll work with that.
Yeah.
That'll be just fine.
Apologies now to our viewers. Alright, so Kohrek immediately going to the back of Swamp. Getting the hook dash, which allows for that first, a click pickup of the skull.
And being patient, waiting for that red berry to stop electrocuting the air. Usually when you walk into that room and it's kind of sparking up, just a couple of sword swings and then a dash up is enough of a timing offset for it to be done by the time you get there.
Definitely. On Mikan's side, we had the Hera bomb jump with a sprite that isn't the traditional one, and I don't know about you. You obviously not, because you play with the mouse clicker pointer thing. But I cannot do any bomb jumps aside from... I can't even do I can't do any of them except Hammer Yump without Link's sprite because all of my lineups are from the hat or the ears or something along those lines. So it's impressive to watch runners do this, having learned these alternate setups, and there's a ton of setups for every trick.
Definitely. The thing with the bomb jump specifically, yeah, there's setups using Link's hat, there's setups using the shadow. The one thing about these custom sprites is that the shadows are all in the exact same place.
Yes.
Because that's just how they work. But the actual size of the sprite itself, if you're lining up based on the hat, yeah, you could run into issues if you're using the soda can, for instance, which is very, very short.
Oh, an unfortunate
Mikan taking a little bit of a fall there. Well, that's okay. It's a relatively quick climb back up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with Kohrek having to do this with Fighter Sword, that's a bit of time gained relatively. Needing to spin and hit it twice with the spins. That boss is so obnoxious in every way that isn't, tempered and or silvers.
Oh, for sure. I mean, one of the most annoying things I find with this fight is you try to get the double puff strategy, and you pull the one, it's fine, but then you go to pull the other one, and you just wind up poking it, or hooking the other one again, and then losing your charge.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's a great strategy when it works. It looks really, really cool. It is definitely a difficult one to pull off. But with that is crystal number 2 now for Kohrek. And the question is, where does he go to next? There's great options. There's the way that I always like to look at it is, what crystal dungeons can I beat? And very heads up by Kohrek to just come to Swamp right away and know that it was accessible and clearable.
Is that a perfect swamp, so to speak? I don't remember seeing a map or a compass.
It's possible that we didn't then. I'm gonna hope that chat can help us out. Because I'm not the greatest at counting along with items, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Confirmation in chat. We had a perfect swamp.
He got the map. So, no, I guess there would be one item still on the left side.
Oh.
Perhaps
yeah.
Feeling that it's not worth the time, maybe hoping to find a hint later on.
Very true. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, that's another solid 2 minutes to head back over that way.
Yes, definitely. Bigger fish to fry, so to speak.
Fried catfish. Hey, that sounds good for dinner. It doesn't, actually. I don't like seafood, but why not? So Kohrek in this digging game now, 1 through 30 digs. It is randomized to guarantee your item. We're finding blue mail. I really like that outline on Link now. That looks great.
Neon blue. But yeah, no, looks good. It's a nice color. So
and there we go. Mikan just getting the glove. And you might be thinking, well, hey, Mikan got the glove well after Kohrek. Kohrek's got another dungeon. Well, the thing is that Mikan also has a dungeon completed that Kohrek has not touched. So this is still very largely anyone's game. I mean, we're less than 35 minutes in. But for anyone that's trying to speculate who has a lead at this point, that's not going to happen anytime soon. The runners have done different things, and they've each found different rewards for their efforts.
Definitely. Mikan's about to get the boots and the... what was it? What was the other thing in there?
There was a bunch of health.
There's a bunch of health. Oh, the mirror. The mirror was in Hype Cave. So Kohrek, knowing Green Pendant is nothing, is probably just going to go try and find those 2 items in Skullwoods real fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then get out of there.
Yeah, this could be a very, very quick clear. Starting at the front, hoping to possibly not find... or rather, not have a need to go to the back of Skullwoods. Finding that small key there is super useful, allowing for a very quick check on this left side of the dungeon. And we'll find another small key, so there's only one more thing we can open at the moment before needing to head further to the dungeon, into the back of the dungeon. And the compass, ooh. Odds are not looking good right now. Either way, the back is going to be necessary to get one of the items. There's one item, of course, at the vanilla big key chest, and then whether it be the big key locking itself or the big key being in the back, we're going to have to go there to try and make some sort of sense of that.
Definitely. Oh, this room sucks so much.
Yeah, Gibdo mummy room. I mean, it's fine when one of them gets stuck, but the one that's on the right isn't the one that we wanted to get stuck right away. It can be tough. You got the wall master coming down.
Shouldn't it be like a floor master?
You know, I don't know, because the Ocarina of Time has a wall master and a floor master. And I think in this one it is technically a wall master, because it's not like on the floor by default, but it goes down to the floor from the ceiling. It's not even from the wall. It should be a ceiling master. I don't know. If I ever meet Shigeru Miyamoto, I'll ask him.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. On behalf of all of us, we'll figure it out.
I guess you couldn't call it Cousin It.
We need a Cousin It sprite.
Do we?
I don't know. Do we need any of the sprites that we have?
Yes,
actually we do. That's a loaded question.
We definitely do. Big shoutouts to our sprite developers.
Mm-hmm.
All community made.
Lots and lots of hard work.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see what's in the back of Skullwoods. We're going straight from Mothula.
Interesting too. I guess, did Kohrek find one item?
Don't believe Kohrek found any, unless there was something in the big key chest. I was glancing over at Mikan for a moment. But here we have a fighter's sword moth fight, and those fire rod shots were just getting eaten by the spikes at the top. Sometimes you can sort of use that to sort of knock him down, just from the splash damage, get him more into an accessible spot of the room. Wasn't the case this time. Mothula, of course, not taking any damage from the spikes. It will override anything that you've done to it. But we'll bring out that hammer and get a few quick hits in for the Bombos medallion in return. Again, without the Titan's mitts, we don't have a clue if that's going to be necessary. It could be.
I mean, we're 2 out of 3 at this point for Misery Mire, 66% likely to have that medallion. That was some quick math there. I rounded down as opposed to rounding up for the record. Those who might criticize my maths.
Yeah, it's not an exact science. It's math. But we've got one more check here. I mean, what are we going to find? Is it going to be something really, really good?
I'm calling a big 20.
Yeah, that's most likely. Oh, there's the big key. So we're still looping back around. And there's the Ether Medallion on Mikan's side in the bombable hut of the Village of Outcasts. That does give us all 3 of our medallions in total, or at least we know where they all are. Yeah, we're gonna have to hope. I mean, just gonna have to hope that they cooperate with the runners and that they're able to open them.
Yes, Kohrek very, very likely will get that ether. It'll be interesting to see if Mikan grabs, even goes into Skullwoods, goes to Agana. That could be a big difference maker. We won't be able to see for a while, as we have said many times. I'm going to stop talking about it for a bit.
No, but you're absolutely right. That's exactly why the Agana check early on is valuable, because at this point, we've got 15 better things to do than go back there. Yes.
The only thing that it would be, very nice if it's like, oh, Quake is Mire while you're checking it, and then you just walk over, mirror, life is good.
Yeah, that would be better if it was checkerboard at that case. Because either way, that's going to result in an extra loot now.
That's true.
Just a minor inconvenience. You're still in the area, so it's kind of cool, but kind of not. The big 20, by the way, on the Bumper Cave ledge. Now we're going to get our first look at the Lumberjack tree.
And is it an Aghanim seed?
Just the heart piece. Just from that bottom little triangle.
Looks like we triangulated that answer.
Are we still doing math science things?
No, I'm just making terrible puns.
Uh-huh.
Some of them happen to be related to math.
Well, you can keep doing that.
Alright.
So Mikan just going to grab the small key, head straight upstairs. There is another hint tile right here. And some Cash is in Blind's hideout. Wow, Cash in a thieves hideout? I would not have ever guessed that to happen.
I think you're being a little naive, DT.
I'll work on that. Silver arrows in the bonk rocks. That's obviously going to be valuable. With that bow, we'll be able to kill most anything in one hit. The only real exception, of course, being Ganon and
Vitreous?
Vitreous, yes. 2 hits with Vitreous. And then, of course, there's the couple of things that you just can't, the couple of bosses you just can't even damage with silver arrows. And I guess really those are probably more formidable in some sense now that I'm thinking of it.
Yeah, Cold Stare is terrifying.
Speaking of cold, look at that.
We didn't need it, probably. Can't say for certain.
Imagine if we do, though.
I hope we don't.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, Turtle Rock, just as a reminder, being one of those pendants. And Ice Palace, for that matter. I mean, this is, in terms of the dungeon layouts, this is a really, really friendly setup.
Yes, definitely.
Not much at this point that we can't do. Pod and Eastern are both accessible. There's another door. That's the 3rd one in total that we've seen. So really, the only dungeons that we can't actually get to right this moment are Desert, unless we happen to find the book or the Titan's Mitts, and Misery Mire, which we need the Titan's Mitts for.
That is correct. So way back at the beginning of this broadcast, we were talking about, or I mentioned that you might find some keys locked in chests. So in this case, not being able to check the big chest was due to the fact that a small key was locked in there.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to explain that, Seed. I appreciate it.
Yeah, there's multiple points throughout the run that this can happen. Palace of Darkness having a couple of spots as well. Those are usually sort of self-inflicted, but still equally harmless.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the other things with... actually, that started with version 28, a full year ago, where the developers said, you know what, yeah, let's make it so that small keys can lock themselves, or the big key of Skullwoods or Swamp Palace can also lock itself. You don't need them to complete the dungeon if they're in that chest.
Definitely.
So it's fine. Why not?
I know key logic is definitely was a big, debated thing with the developers. They worked pretty hard to make sure soft locks aren't possible unless, well, I think there's a couple cases, but even then, no, I think they've fixed them all.
Yeah, no, at this point, I think it's all pretty much set. But yeah, I know, for instance, Palace of Darkness was one of those key logic hell mysteries that figuring out how to place the keys there so that you can't soft lock was just absolutely grueling.
Yes.
So we got sort of a trade in locations at this point. Mikan checking the graveyard locations, Kohrek going through Thieves Town, and that's going to actually keep us fairly even with the crystal count at this point. Like I said, both runners taking different routes, and there, of course, the Tempered Sword on Mikan's end, which was only Master for Kohrek. But each runner choosing to go about this in a slightly different fashion, resulting in these different rewards and different opportunities. And it's going to keep the race. I'm expecting it to be very close as we get down the stretch.
Ooh, getting hexed by the Hellway.
Yeah, that Hellway was not friendly there.
So while we've got some overlap, I do have a little bit of background on what got us to this point, if you're so inclined.
I would be so interested to hear that, Felix.
Okay, well, I'm just going to take a step back, go to the round of 16. Mikan fought ACMLM, and Kohrek fought Dracaris. Going back one step further, OC 101, that was Kohrek's opponent. 2-0 there in that series, same with Dracaris, so Kohrek has played the minimum number in brackets to get here. Mikan, though, again, ACMLM, that was a 2-1 series, and Ari, I can't say Ari's name, but we just call him Ari, Mikan beat Ari 2-0 in the round of 32 to get here. Well, to face ACMLM to get here. Tough matches. Tough matchups. Like, so, top 32 was just... what do you expect, right?
everyone fought for their spot, and yeah, no, I don't think any bracket matchup was one-sided. I
No.
think that either runner in any situation could have walked away from it and moved on to the next round. But
Absolutely.
what you're telling us, based on those numbers, is that these runners have done a fantastic job.
They have done a fantastic job.
Yes, best of 3 series, but to come out of this with only one loss into the 3rd round so far at the most between these two runners, the record speaks for itself. That's why they're here. That's why they are against each other at this point, and that's why this is going to be such a close race and a great series. Again, Kohrek up 1-0 over Mikan right now. Could end it with this, but you know what? We just can't tell. Mikan's great. Kohrek's great.
You're great, DT.
Wow, dude, you know what, man? Thank you.
You know who else is great?
You?
People. Well, I'm not gonna say that. What I was gonna say is I was gonna give a big thank you to our tracker, Shularoon. Appreciate it. You're keeping us well informed, keeping our runners, aware of what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you very much for tracking for us.
Yes, we cannot do these races. I mean, there's a lot that comes together for these races, but we cannot do these races without trackers. For the chat's sake, for our sake.
Yeah, I think that says it pretty well. So, what do we got? We got Swamp Palace.
And Village of Outcast stuff from Kohrek. I'm waiting to see someone head over to Pod and Eastern. And that's going to be less valuable, I think, for Mikan since Eastern's already done, but Kohrek's got to be thinking about it any time now. There is just not that much more for him to do at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Ice Palace is not accessible. I think the next piece of progression is either, this one chest that was missed in Swamp.
Ooh, could you imagine?
I don't want to.
Okay.
Look, I know we like to have, a laugh sometimes at these runners' hard times, but I want to see a good, clean race.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, if Kohrek gets hecked as by this that's part of it. You're risking every single time you leave one for a more item dense check or making that gamble.
And of course, at this point, going to Palace of Darkness being the most item dense check that Kohrek can do. 5 items in the dungeon, and then, like we had speculated earlier, going to be a quick mirror afterward to go to Eastern Palace. So that's another 3. There's a total of 8 unique, well, not necessarily unique, but 8 non-dungeon items within these 2 dungeons. And for those of you that may be new to the randomizer, what I mean when I'm referring to non-dungeon items, just like regular items you might pick up. Dungeon items would, of course, refer to keys, big or small, map, or compass. So each of these dungeons have a set number of non-dungeon items that you can collect as you go through them.
Definitely, and it totally influences your decision making. It's one of the things as you're learning to play rando, you definitely memorize. Helps with the routing for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for instance, I use like a notepad document to track things, and way back when I started playing, I had all of the dungeons laid out with the number of non-dungeon items in them, and eventually, you just commit it to memory, and there's our Titan's Miss. I'm going to cut myself off because that's amazing. That's one of those last couple of things we were looking for.
Yes.
That might actually be the last thing that we were looking for. Aside from Lamp, logically. We know where Canis Samaria is. For those of you tuning in a little bit late, it is on top of the, as we discovered, not floating island in the mountain.
Yeah, the visible peak.
Wow.
But yeah, you're right. This is no mode.
Mm-hmm.
On Mikan's side, so we saw the Argus fight before. From Kohrek, much slower, doing double spins. Mikan's just grabbing and puff, slashing. It's nothing. Just one. What is it? One cycle, I guess. 2 spins now. It's easy.
I mean, cycles are confusing, but yeah, because sometimes there's 0 cycles, sometimes there's 1 cycle, sometimes they get used interchangeably. Point is, boss is down.
It's a good point. It is a very good point.
You know what else is a good point? The mouse
Is it a
cursor.
sword?
Yeah, that too.
Oh, okay. Silver arrows?
Yep, also good points. Anywho, it looks like Mikan is going to go back in and check that left side area.
Ooh.
At this point, I think we can safely say we're not going to find anything that's going to be any direct benefit.
That is well, another sword. The lamp. The lamp is probably here. No, it could be on Death Mountain now. There's a whole bunch of places the lamp can be now. Could be the lamp, though. The lamp is nice. That is something that Kohrek might never get that will save a whole bunch of time for Mikan, potentially. Dark rooms are difficult, especially Misery Mire.
It definitely can be. Misery Mire, one of the most dreaded for any of the runners. Specifically that first room. You've got lots of those little fireball shooter things and a very, very obnoxious hitbox on the Samaria switch. It's tough.
Yes. I imagine these runners will check Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave when they go up to get their Cane of Samaria.
I mean, it's right on the way, so...
Yeah.
So why not?
For Kohrek, it'll be a sword, potentially. And the jump from Master Sword to Tempered Sword is, to quote my good friend Clifford the Big Red Dog, it is the biggest jump of damage in the game. So, he likes to say that quite often.
You know, I believe I've heard him say those exact words on many occasions.
Yep. So, shoutouts to Clifford. So, us as viewers, hoping this is evened up a bit, the most valuable thing I think at this point for Mikan would be a sword on this side to keep Kohrek away from that, additional damage. There's a very good chance Kohrek's not going up to Zora's area at all. There's no reason to.
No.
So.
Which, in its own right, is a fantastic thing to be able to skip.
Yes.
Cane of Burna, okay. So that could unfortunately just lead Mikan further away from where he needs to go.
Yes. But we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
The fire rod's so handy in Palace of Darkness. Alright.
But here we go, Mikan right on Kohrek's heels at this point, and heading to the Palace of Darkness. Might be able to... you know what? This timing's going to be really interesting. I think Palace of Darkness, definitely being a longer dungeon than Eastern, he'll be able to make up some time on Kohrek on this, perhaps not quite all of it. But yeah, Kohrek's going to have to do Eastern right after this, and these runners are going to be very, very close coming out of these two dungeons.
Exactly. The biggest thing right now will be what that Misery Mire medallion is. We still do not know. Kohrek, of course, with all three. If it is Quake, that is probably fine for Mikan. Probably. That was in Agina's Cave. Or Agina. Whatever pronunciation you use. Bombos, though, being in Skullwood, on Mothula.
Out of the way.
Yeah, very out of the way.
You're hoping it's if you're rooting for Mikan, you're hoping at this point that Ether is going to be what gets us into Misery Mire.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Quake is local to it, so it could be an instinctive thing to check the surrounding desert areas fully, if it happens to be Quake. Time is going to tell. We're going to see our runners head up to East Dark Death Mountain to get the Cane of Samaria before we head over there. And I'm wondering, too, if Mikan is thinking, you know what, yeah, this is like the last main item that I need, those Titan's Myths that he just got. Let's find the big key and one small key and go for Helmasaur.
10 bombs, one of our new featured weapons in the standard randomized sword categories.
Ah, yes, the fun 10 bomb item. It's actually not too bad to find, because any other like bundle of bombs you get is just 3. And if you are like out of bombs and you're approaching the South Shore and you find it in the dam, hey, great, it's awesome.
Definitely. Another option for, if you're ever out of bombs and you need something, if you have the flute and the flippers, go buying a bomb upgrade in the Hylia, the Hylia Lake Fairy Cave?
Not the waterfall, but it's something. Yeah, I don't know the official name for it.
The place where you can upgrade your stuff or you upgrade your capacity in the main game.
Mm-hmm.
The donation chamber. You can buy stuff there, it'll refill, and you'll get more capacity.
Yep.
Real
yeah,
nice.
What the developers have done is turned it basically entirely into a shop. Up until, I believe, this version of the randomizer, capacity upgrades, whether it be +5 arrows or +5 bombs, were just regular things in the item pool that you could pick up. Those have since been removed and replaced with just bomb or arrow pickups. And they have basically set up a shop in that central Lake Hylia cave. 100 rupees each.
Yes. Yes. Oh, getting that hook speed on Kohrek's side. That was pretty.
That's a really fun place to get it. I like that. Pond of Happiness, as Chad is pointing out. Yes, that sounds right to me.
Even if it isn't, who am I to argue?
I mean, you go there and you buy things and you get happy because you bought things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kohrek approaching the back end of Eastern. Just a couple of screens left before getting to Armos. Mikan still looking for a couple of things. Very possible that, doesn't feel like taking that gamble on the medallions and just wanting to be thorough. Big Key may have also been down here. I'm actually not sure.
Big Key was downstairs, but you do raise a good point on the medallions. It's worth a check while you're here. Coming back is definitely not worth it. So
you don't want to put yourself in that situation. Not finding anything of any value there. Make one quick trip around and check out the big chest. A very careful bomb placement to be able to get to it. Kohrek making quick work of the Armos Knights with the silver arrows. Has to be expected.
Yeah, so they do need Cane Samaria for Mire. We know where it is. We saw it was sitting on Death Mountain on the right side. So again, we are in no mode, which is we know we have the items to beat the game. We just need to go get them.
Yeah, it should be a very, very quick trip up there.
Yeah, Kohrek going there right now. Let's see. Not getting the full Waffle House drive-through.
Got cabbage on the way out. I don't know if Waffle House actually has any cabbage or not, but that's another story too. I just know that they do good breakfast things.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, at this point, Kohrek only having Master Sword, I think we're going to see your prediction come true and see these chests get opened.
Yeah, you might as well.
Looking for that extra sword. We know that it's not going to... Well, we don't know. We've only seen 3 in total, haven't we?
We have only seen 3. We were hoping for a 4th on the left side of Swamp.
I mean, it's certainly a curiosity that we'd like to fill at some point.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, that would be the biggest benefit that Kohrek could find at this point. And I presume that's what he's looking for.
Yeah, again, it's on the way. You might as well.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go through Hookshot Cave to get the item that's on that mountain. See what's there.
Yep. And there we go. Mikan lighting that torch. There's only 2 turtles left. Was able to take out 4 of them, I guess, in the dark.
That's impressive. Those turtles are difficult.
Yeah, they're not nice. I mean, you can sort of feel out the vanilla NMG strat a little bit. But you get that one turtle or maybe both turtles on the bottom that walk in a different direction, and it just screws everything.
Very true. Oh god, we've got magenta on Kohrek's side. The color that doesn't exist. Technically. There's no, red, green, and blue all have their own wavelength things, and it's blue and red that combine to make magenta, but it's, if you average that out, that's actually just green. So it kind of doesn't exist. It tricks your brain, is what I'm getting at. It's cheating.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's the can of Samaria. Oh, right. We found it.
Glossing over.
and very much heading to the Misery Mire area now. We'll see what that medallion is. Again, for Mikan's sake, you're hoping that it's going to be Ether.
Yes.
It could be Bombos or Quake, though. Kohrek doesn't have a concern about this. He's got all three. It is Ether. Okay, that's going to be good news for Mikan in about 3 minutes. He's actually going over there right now to check.
Smart move.
He did see the Canis Maria earlier, right?
I imagine so, but just checking to know, okay, I can grab the cane and then I can come back right back down, or I gotta go somewhere else.
No. He must not have seen it.
Or just gonna open it now and then come back later, or totally forgot.
Which is a thing that can happen, that's true.
Yes. But the hesitation leads me to think maybe, like, oh, nope. Well, let's see what happens here.
That's all we can do. I mean, we know that Canis Maria is not going to be here. I mean, yeah, we can only speculate so much on whether or not Mikan actually did see it earlier. But I mean, we'll get some knowledge of the big key. This is one of those situations where it may very well spell the end of this.
Yes. So Kohrek likely just going to go to the left side. We know where the big key is there. It is fire block. But we will see what happens. Maybe Mikan's going to go get that. I think they saw the hint that was the unique item, so maybe they're thinking it's that.
I mean, that's actually not out of the realm of possibility. Unfortunately, that is not the unique item anybody wants to see.
I totally missed it. Which one was that?
The single point.
Ah, okay. Yeah, definitely not.
But yeah, I mean, I guess that means that we're going to see that 15-second cutscene you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
You know, if the big key had been up top, we wouldn't have seen it, because otherwise we're in go mode.
Yes. When you do this room properly, or, you know, when people do that first room with the lamp only, I always think of it looks like a robot. Like a little mustache in the middle or something. Makes a little face, got the 2 holes at the top for eyes, and then you push the blocks in such a way.
I don't know how you push those blocks, but...
in a way that makes it look like a robot, obviously.
Makes it look like a robot.
Yep.
Alright. Well, that's going to be in my head every time I play this game now.
Good.
I mean, that's fine. I am considering myself cultured in the world of Felix, I guess.
It is a world, certainly.
So Kohrek's going to make his way downstairs. Again, without the lamp, as I had mentioned, this is probably the single most difficult dark room that you'll see runners go through. He's going to dash over, looks like he's trying to change direction a little bit. Drop the block. This is one of the most common strategies. Nailed it. Very, very nice. One of those most common strategies is to go to the bottom left of that room, walk a little bit to the right from the corner, and you can pretty much throw the block up and it will land on the switch. A couple other strategies that seem to work well for people, but very, very nicely done from Kohrek.
So Mikan here going for Desert Palace, looking for, you know, the 2 items in there, or just going to complete it while here.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely not a bad play, although he's not...
Yeah, so maybe remembered?
Yeah, maybe he did see it, and then it just clicked with him at some point in Mire. Because otherwise, yeah, you'd be checking a couple more things throughout Desert. But I guess that's good, then. Kohrek, a little bit low on health. With red mail, shouldn't be too much of a cause for concern. But the Vitreous Eyeballs and Lightning will still do 2 full hearts of damage, so caution will have to be had. Or taken, or consumed, whatever you do with caution. Silver Arrow is going to be great to make quick work of Vitreous, though. Just 1 each on the small eyeballs, 2 for the big one. And we'll be out of there unscathed. That is crystal number 6 in just a moment for Kohrek.
Number number 6, you say?
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 crystals lit up on Kohrek's track.
That is practically almost 7.
I mean, if we're rounding, do we just go up to 7 anyway, and it's fine?
I mean, technically, if we're rounding, we go up to 10. So Kohrek has 10 crystals.
Wow, what an overachiever.
Anyways, Kohrek's gonna go do Desert Palace. Oh.
And then that's 11, so we round down to 10 still anyway, right? There's our 4th sword.
Wow.
Alright, so any advantage that Mikan still might have had from that sword upgrade is now gone.
No, and with the flute out already, gonna go up to Death Mountain, hopefully. Yep. Okay, good. Good.
Yeah, he must have just remembered at some point. Okay, you know what? So you just chalk that up to being a thing that happens with Randomizer.
Oh, 100%.
Everybody goes.
Yeah, you play so many seeds, it's, oh, you know, am I mixing it up with this one I played yesterday? Is it the one I did earlier today? Multiple seeds in a day is tough. It's real tough.
It's crazy.
And we know these runners have been practicing.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you stay at the top.
I mean, yeah, that's practice makes perfect, is what they say. But yeah, he's going straight up, electing to head to the Turtle Rock portal instead of just activating from below. I think technically a little bit quicker to do it this way, assuming that the Dead Rocks cooperate.
Yes, that is correct. That is the fastest way to get up here.
Even if the portal is not active.
Right. Well, maybe if the portal is... I don't know. I don't know if the portal is inactive, but I think so. I think you were right in saying that. Hey, look! Turtle Rock was ether. Did you know that?
I do now, and we have the fire rod on the ice rod, and we're about to get the can of Samaria. Maybe we should go.
It's tempting.
And it's like super cold everywhere still, right? So being in a room full of lava might seem nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sound logic on why to go into Turtle Rock right now.
I mean, I try to be as logical as I can. And there's nothing more logical than 3 silver arrows to the land mola's faces. Actually, that's not logic at all. That's just great execution by Kohrek. That is crystal number 7. And we're going to be on our way up the mountain one last time on the right side of your screens, folks.
I think it's time to do that thing, right?
Oh, right, yes. There are numbers and places. So Ganon's Tower, of course, has a lot of locations, and we're looking for one specific key. Anywhere between 1 and 22, if you are a speed gaming supporter on any of the channels, whether it be you have a sub or have contributed 250 bits or more, you can play this game. Just type in that number in chat. And whoever the first one was to guess the correct number will be placed onto the fun leaderboard.
The leaderboard for fun. You want to have fun, don't you? What is your
wait,
guess?
no, I'm sorry. This is the GT Big Key leaderboard, not the fun leaderboard. I got those confused.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, finding the GT is not always fun at all.
Yeah. So anyway, I believe you were asking what my guess was.
I was asking what your guess was.
And if you weren't, I'm just going to tell you anyway.
I was asking what your guess was.
I'm going to go with number 10.
Good. I was worried you were going to say 7, and I wouldn't know what else to pick. So
I guess that means you're going to pick 7, which means I don't have to ask you.
Right, that's correct.
Okay, so let's see what it's going to be then. Mikan heading straight back down, again without the lamp. Very curious to see how this dark room goes. And it looks like about the same type of strategy, just dashing over right away. Getting hit a couple of times here. It's very disorienting.
Oh, it's terrible.
This is why it's one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult dark rooms in the game.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
Just to clarify, runners are totally allowed to have maps up of this room, should they choose. But even then, just to be able to find that little switch that you have to chuck a block onto, it sucks.
Right.
The maps helped only to a certain extent.
And that's not even a room where you can just kind of stand still and reference a map. You got those fireball shooters coming at you from multiple directions, and you try to take your eyes off the screen for even a moment, they might knock you out of place and totally make you lose your bearings. But as we can see, both runners made it through. Mikan's in the second to last, or the last dark room at this point.
Yes.
That's it. So I have to applaud both runners. I have to applaud any runner that I see complete that set of dark rooms specifically. Well done.
Well done to them. All right, so we've got what? 3? No, that's 4. 5.
And that's 5. I guess he didn't go right side first. I was busy talking about dark rooms.
Didn't go right side first. So one of these 2 chests has it. Oh my god, that's a lot of keys.
Yeah, that is, and that's awesome to find. There's the Book of Medora. That's gonna be useless. There's that was a ridiculous room.
That was a ridiculous room. Yeah. Yep. Just so tile room looking to be the last place to be checked. That is fairly common. You won't really see a runner do that, unless they feel they're very behind. So
guess we'll see how it goes. And yeah, all things considered, Mikan really not far behind at this point. DT routing could turn into... it could totally turn the tables on what this match is at this point. Kohrek having a little bit of trouble with these Gibdos. They just... I don't know, they either don't want to let him throw the block or they want to give him a hug. I can't figure it out.
They were trying to wrap him up.
Yeah, I get it.
Ooh. Oh, I guess, with 3 keys, not so worried about that one in the next room. Going back to the left side.
That'll be fine. So what does that put us up to? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I believe. And we're going to head back. So kind of a pseudo-Dark Magician route. Instead of going full right at this point, we're just kind of going like that half right. And then
the
back.
Full halfy?
Sure. I mean, the name of the game is like locations per minute kind of a thing. So the way that he's routing it right now is definitely going to achieve that.
Yes. Yes. Well said. Well said.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we got a moment in between. I think now is a perfect time to mention that if you do like what you see here, if you appreciate the skill of these runners, give them a follow. Definitely great to watch, learn from if you want to get into it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, 2 very, very experienced runners, very, very skilled runners as well. And like Felix had mentioned at the beginning, there's the big key.
I mentioned that at the beginning?
Yes, you did. That was the first thing you said when we started this.
Excellent.
I remember.
I think that was number 13.
I believe so. You know what? I lost my train of thought when I was trying to explain something. Oh well, that's the way it goes.
Yeah, because you had said 11 after the right side.
12 in the double firebar room. So then, yeah, that was 13.
All right, if you know how to enter that, that's great. I will. Apparently you do.
I just guessed.
Blue Kano with that first guess. Well done.
Congratulations.
Well done, you.
So, we've got the gauntlet coming up now, and this can be quite a grueling point. Red mail is going to make it not so difficult in a lot of ways, but based on enemy RNG and movement, it can still take a little bit of time. Usually these gauntlets go really, really well, or kind of a mix. One room might be great, one room might not be. That first room there, you can fire an arrow straight down and always hit that Stalfos. The second one's not too hard to hit on the right. They tend to stay between those blocks. And then these guys, I like the strategy. They're picking up the top right pot and just chucking it at the first one.
Yeah, I mean, shoutouts to Christos Owen getting the new room record on that recently. Grinding that one out for reasons. So, as Kohrek goes to the gauntlet, Mikan's going the left side, which does save a bit of time. Won't end up with the shovel, but I don't feel that that's relevant to beating this game anymore, so ends up working out.
I would say so, yeah. Definitely going to be a quicker route on Mikan's end. Gotta say, great gauntlet for Kohrek. Very nice and quick. Another great Landmo fight. We're going to be moving on upstairs. Mikan just seconds away from getting his big key at this point.
These are the 2 most satisfying rooms in the game when you get them. It doesn't matter how the rest of the run went. If you get these 2 rooms with the Wizrobes, it's just like, all right, I did something correct.
It is cool because I think one of the reasons I like it is you get that stacked sound effect when you kill multiple things at once.
Yeah.
It's just an overwhelming sound of you did it.
I think that's actually what it says if you slow down the audio clip. It just says you did.
That's probably reversed too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Mikan shot the anti-fairy with a silver arrow. That was good.
One of the enemies that is immune to silver arrows.
Oh, keeping us entertained while they keep us entertained.
Kohrek out of magic. Gonna have to run over, grab this full magic recovery. We'll see if he waits a moment. There would have been enough time, and yep, he felt the same. There is enough time to get through that room still before that last chime plays. If you...
He actually waited for it. It hit as he was on the side of the stairs.
I believe that was actually a second one, or a first one. I feel like there's actually two that occur.
I don't know. At this point, no, there's only one. It's the one from the other room.
Well, either way, bad things didn't happen.
These are not important to the...
No, but now I'm curious. Just because reasons.
I always just watch for the freeze frame.
Right.
Because I don't play with audio, so I don't even...
Oh, right, yeah, so you would need some sort of a cue then.
Yeah, so I have that visual cue.
Alright, Kohrek going to just head right on through into this pinball room. This is another one that's satisfying when you have the boots. You can just wait that moment, avoid the first mini Helma, dash straight up between the bumpers and all the way up.
So terrifying without the boots.
Oh, it is. It's even more terrifying in Randomizer.
Okay, so we got a Landmo 2 fight, and we got an Aga 2 fight. Well, our first Aga fight of the seed, but you know.
What I know is that I see 3 Aghanims.
2 of them aren't real.
So then I guess it's still just Aga 1. Did he just poke that? Or did he release the spin in time? I'm not sure. That was neat.
I think the spin was released in... I don't know. This game's weird.
Oh man, someone said that once or twice too. But there we go. Aga 2 down. Kohrek on the doorstep of Ganon now.
Yep.
I guess it's not really a doorstep. It's crashing in through the roof.
Roof step.
Yes. And Mikan really only just a couple of minutes behind, just needs to get through these last couple of sections of GT in the upstairs. And a Tempered Sword is going to result in 12 hits for Phase 1, 12 hits for Phase 2, 4 in Phase 3. We'll get the nice Trident spin. That was beautiful. And we should be on to Phase 2.
Yeah, as you said. Will it be the 1-in-1?
I think so. He seems like he's got enough there. Yep, very nice. On to Phase 3 already. You can take a little bit of damage. You have red mail. It's okay. And getting those silvers set up straight away. As Mikan is finishing up Maldorm 2. We set the hookshot on across and get to Aghanim 2 as well.
Mikan trying to juke us with that fake hover.
He's just dancing.
I guess that works.
Kohrek taking a hit from the fire bat, missing torch glitch, not having half magic or the lamp. Gonna have to be careful with the fire rod shots. Plenty of magic to work with. Almost gets a triple on that as well.
Oh
no!
Oh, this is super close now.
Oh my! Right on the doorstep of that 4th silver hit. And that fire bat said, nope, down you go. Kohrek gonna have to make his way back up in a hurry.
The great equalizer. I was gonna figure out some pun with a pig, but I don't have it. So Kohrek has a blue potion still, as far as I remember. There we go. Thanks, Kohrek.
Okay. I was gonna say, he's not getting the fairy from the tree.
No.
He's feeling pressed for time, maybe. But yeah, here we go. Refight.
Yep. Mikan had a bit of trouble there with that Aga 2, but we are super close.
And getting that Trident spin once more. Ganon being at the bottom there, there's room for more double spins, but not getting into Phase 2 right away. Top right corner is the best place that you can get this guy. Just get a couple of double spins, Really only 3 of them at that point, and that's enough to get on to the next phase.
Yeah, and you can, walk a bit under Ganon's arm to shoot that hook shot out to get out of the...
Hitboxes are weird.
But this is we got both runners on the Ganon fight. Again, a fall to either is catastrophic at this point.
It would be. Mikan has Ganon in the next best spot as well. You can get a couple more of these double spins in that top left corner if you stand directly above him. Gets a few. That should be enough to get him onto phase 3. Low on health and only blue mail, so needs to be a little bit more careful than Kohrek.
But with that, half magic and Cane of Burna, use that magic for some safety.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely plausible. Now, if you had the Master Sword, you wouldn't be able to because you can't spin attack with the Cane of Burna active. But attempt number 2, Kohrek is finishing up Ganon. We're in this fanfare at this point. As Mikan just starts phase 4, Kohrek does finish with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 20 minutes, 55 seconds. And secures that second win and a spot in the top 4. Get those GGs in chat for Kohrek and for Mikan as well, who is finishing up right this moment.
Definitely.
Awesome race. Super, super close. I'm glad that it came down to, what is this, 22 seconds or so?
Something like that. Yeah, very, very close.
Unbelievably close.
So we are going to see if they want to join us. We have Kohrek here. Let's see if Mikan wants to join. But in the meantime, I'm going to grab Kohrek, and I'll reach out to Mikan if you want to start talking to Kohrek.
We can do that.
GG's, Kohrek.
GG, congratulations on the win, and moving on to the round of top 4.
GG, thank you. Thank you very much. That was, I appreciate everybody that came out for this race, so I thought it would make it a little exciting at the end there.
Well, as long as you had a reason and it was a good one, props to you. We're joined by Mikan now as well. Fantastic job, 20 seconds apart. GG to you.
So I don't know if you guys know this, not being in top 8 or anything, but Moldworm actually doesn't die if you ram your face into him.
I did not make the top 8, but it is something I have come across in the past because, I lack the skill to properly kill Moldworm 2.
Mm-hmm.
But
I was really hoping that face ram would have worked.
I was hoping. That was my new tactic. So was forgetting Samaria. That was also a pretty big either.
That was one thing that we were admittedly curious about, whether or not you had actually seen it up on the island or if it was just a unfortunate lapse in memory. But
I was
it seemed like you remembered it as
focused.
soon as you started skipping things in desert.
Yeah, as I was way too focused on knowing what the medallion for Myra was to know if I needed anything else. I was like, oh, well, I know where Samaria is. I don't need anything else, so I can just go finish Myra, right?
Yep. And that's great to have that knowledge. I guess it really worked out that it was Ether. Quake Medallion was not too far off. It was only in Agana's cave. Bombos itself, though, was on Mothula, so that could have thrown you for a loop, I'm sure.
This is the easiest seed that I really hecked up.
I don't think you hecked it up too bad at all. No, you did great.
Gotta agree with Felix on this one.
Kohrek, I have to ask though, when did you realize you were in, well, effectively no mode? When you had all the pieces?
Well, I was in mid-go mode, or like potential mid-go mode. I was at like 1 or 2 medallions for a while, and then I got the third one. So I'm like, but when I went to Till Mothula, I didn't even realize how close I was at that time. I'm going to be completely honest. And then when Meyer was not Bombos, I'm like, well, that's not good.
Yeah, it was. You had the safety ultimately. You guys were going into Meyer at very close at the same time. Unfortunately, Mikan had to go back and get the cane. But again, it was one of those check at the same time, find out if Mikan's going to be searching for another few minutes or however long, or how close this race was. So it was really an indicator for us. But that race was super close. There was definitely some up and downs from both sides. Like Kohrek, you found the hammer a bit earlier, and then found the gloves, but Mikan had the extra sword for longer, tempered for significantly longer, didn't have to do fighter sword, Argus. Yeah, it kind of went back and forth.
Honestly, what I was thinking that when I was up past Landmola 2 and he hadn't done yet, I figured I was thinking maybe he went to Thieves Town first and then went the southern Dark World loop over to Pod, which I think would have been quite ideal. But if he did that, maybe he doesn't have the tempered or silvers, so that would be really cool. But I guess it was just a lot closer than I thought it was.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the first 30, 40 minutes or so, the direction that you both went was just slightly different enough that you were both finding varying pieces of progression, and it kept us on our toes, and then it started to meld back together. And I mean, everything just kind of came in place at that point for you within moments of each other.
Cool. I mean, I guess I can't really ask for much more than that. That was about as close as it's going to get.
Yeah,
very
definitely.
darn near. I mean, from where I was sitting, you both played great, and you should both be proud of what you were able to accomplish throughout the tournament.
For sure. I guess so. Mikan, unfortunately, this is your exit from the tournament. What did you think? Did you enjoy it? What was your favorite set of modes?
My favorite modes were the ones that were not inverted. I had to play a couple of inverteds, and I disliked all of them, despite winning 2 of them, I think. Other than that, I got off pretty easy. I never had to do a retro, which is great. I still haven't ever played one of those. And then, I mean, the Q sanities are just kind of whatever. I'm fine with those.
That's good. You did great. Thank you for participating in this tournament. Yeah. Can I ask, who you're going to be cheering on as it goes forward?
I want Kohrek to win because he kicked my ass. No, in all honesty, that was pretty good. I'm still surprised that I got this far because I feel like my execution was probably the weakest out of everyone in top 8 and probably top 16 and 32 as well. But I don't know. I guess the luck pulled through, but it wasn't quite enough today. It was really close though.
Yeah, no, you definitely kept it close. I mean, ACMLM definitely considered one of the favorites in many people's eyes, or definitely high up. Being able to, well, you were down 1-0 in that thing, right? Or,
yes.
So because coming back from that.
No.
Oh, you were up.
I think, yeah, because we won on each other's choices.
Okay.
So I would assume that ACM picked first.
Right.
And then I won. And then, yeah. Okay. Yes, that's what it was. No. Yeah.
Either way, awesome job. Yeah. Again, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I had fun. Thanks for doing the thing. I'll go watch this one back because I didn't lose by too much.
I totally understand that. Kohrek.
Yes.
You are moving to the top 4, the semifinals, where we switch to a best of 5 format. How you feeling about it?
I feel to get this far in this tournament, it does require some good play, but it also requires some luck and some things to go your way. So I just feel really fortunate to be here, and I'm looking forward to the top 4. My next opponent, the lane, we're good friends in the community, and really looking forward to the matchup. He and I actually were met in brackets in the spring tournament, so it's a little bit of a rematch too.
Nice. That'll be something to look forward to.
Yeah, so it should be a lot of fun, and obviously everybody that's left that. If I were lucky enough to beat the lane, everybody on the other side of the bracket is also just great competitors, and I'm looking forward to any matches that come my way, and I'll do my best and see what happens.
Well, good. That's a super positive outlook on what's to come. Obviously, scheduling a little bit more grueling going to best of 5. It's going to be a test of endurance as we get down to these last couple of rounds. And best of luck to you. Absolutely. Hope it goes well.
Thank you.
I think I'm DT. Unless you have any other questions, any comments, any final comments from either of you, Kohrek or Mikan?
I just want to say thanks to everybody watching, you guys for commentating and tracking and all that fun stuff, and just look forward to what's next.
Excellent. Thank you both again for a fantastic race. Again, finishing 20-some seconds apart from each other. Super close, very exciting, great displays of execution. And Kohrek, again, congratulations, moving on. Mikan, thank you so much for playing, man. You did a great job as well.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Keep watching the tournament. It's super cool.
Yeah,
definitely.
Come. Right this moment on Speed Gaming 5, there is I believe it's a Game 2 match between Willard J. Bradley and Kyong92. Settings are all dungeons, open, swordless, expert, key sanity. That is a doozy. Probably one of the worst combinations of settings that you could pick in this tournament. So, if you want to see more rando action from this tournament, go check out Speed Gaming 5. Should be going on for a little while longer.
Definitely. Otherwise, on Speed Gaming, we got Super Metroid and ALTTP combo on Speed Gaming 2. Super Mario Bros. 3 randomizer on Speed Gaming 4. I don't see anything on Speed Gaming unless I'm, blind, and that's very much a possibility. But a lot more rando. We still got our top 4 coming soon once we finish out this round.
I believe that is going to be about it then. Anything else, Felix?
No, that was a blast. Thank you for commentating with me, DT. Again, shoutouts to our tracker, Shula. Thank you very much, and thank you to Speed Gaming for all the hard work they do.